In part 2, I'll look in more detail at the content of the project, what a good ISP looks like, and also give you some key pointers to consider while you're writing.
You've probably chosen your subject already, but you may wish to consider doing your ISP either on another division or business unit, another organisation, or of course on your own division or business unit. If the organisation you're writing about is undergoing a change at the moment, or has undergone one recently, you can use this established new vision and strategy as the basis for your ISP. As I said in part 1, it's even more important that you take a critical and integrated approach if you decide to approach your ISP in this way. Your business transformation part needs to consider the key change dynamics that you want to write about in depth. Here are a selection of the kinds of issues that typically are involved in a major transformation, but you need to consider for your context which 2 or 3 are the ones that you want to develop and explore in more depth to show that you have that level of understanding. So what does a good ISP look like? Well, of course it should be professionally presented and a project that you feel proud of submitting and showing others at work as a result. So clear text, clear layout, and I suggest in terms of the structure you refer to the ISP guide, which will give you detailed advice as to how best to lay out your report. It should of course include your personal development report, which I'll refer to in detail at the end of this video. You should choose your models carefully, together with a rationale for their choice. And again, this is where you can use appendices carefully and effectively by your analysis within each of the models being put in appendices and referring to them in the main text, which is a smart way of using your word count as well as possible. It should of course be analytical and not descriptive, and holistic in nature. In other words, it's looking at the whole organisation or business unit and how each dynamic affects the whole of the organisation. It should be written in the third person because, as well as being good practice at this level, it provides a certain objectivity to your writing. And clear conclusions and, if relevant, recommendations provide a concise way to finish the project. So let's look at some key pointers to enable you to reach these objectives. First, you need to check your registration date, and from that create a proper study plan so that you are able to spend enough time at the critical points through writing the project. You need to remember it's a strategy report for your MBA, which is assessing your ability to apply concepts and tools in an integrated manner. It isn't a consultancy or an operations report, although of course you may well want to use it back in the organisation when you've submitted it and received your comments. Be as bold and as radical as you can in your suggestions for the change in your organisation. And one way that I think you can effectively do this is to imagine that you're the CEO or the head of the business unit and look at the change in the light of what would you do in that particular situation. As I said earlier, be selective in the models you use. They should fit the organisation's setting rather than vice versa. It's definitely quality rather than quantity here. People issues, of course, are central to any effective business transformational implementation. And so we need to see that you understand the behavioural aspects of your particular change and how they need to be assessed and integrated into the overall change plan. Your proposals and implementation steps need to be integrated and aligned so that they show coherence and linkages with other activities going on in the organisation at the time. Be assertive in your style and use prose in justifying and promoting your arguments. And the use of bullet points, summary tables and diagrams, if they're used sensibly, are very useful for synthesis and drawing conclusions. And lastly, we don't advise writing the ISP on a startup unless it's a particular corporate venture or spin-off, because it's difficult to develop the strategic change aspects in a meaningful way if the entity is new. And finally, your personal development plan. This just needs to be 1 or 2 pages and needs to just summarise your relation to the organisation and the industry generally, how the project relates to your development objectives, summarising the recommendations and what they mean for your learning through the process, discussing your general insights in relating tools and techniques to actual cases, and also how the ISP has contributed to the development of your senior management competencies. Thank you.
So I've now covered the overall requirements of the project, some detailed comments, tips and hints, and I hope that you found these 2 videos of help as you continue to write and prepare for your submission. Many people who complete their ISP find it not only valuable in pulling together a lot of their learning as they complete their MBA, but also find it useful in their further personal and career development. I hope you enjoy completing it, and good luck with your writing.